that we having our Born to Build show with amazing founders. This time we have Tolly. And if you're watching this part of live stream, probably you're watching this because no one is watching us right now because we still don't have any notifications for live streams, guys. So if you were watching this, please jump on YouTube and watch there because that's how you will find good quality and everything. And we have our first viewer right now. Hi. Wait, I will like my post. You can repost it if you can, then you can delete it, and it will help us to gain some audience. And we have people on Abstract. Hi, guys. Oh my God. Yeah, how are you today? How was the weather? Where are you?
It's perfect. I'm in Florida, USA, so it's hot outside, so I stay inside during the day. I get my outdoor exercise in the morning and at night because in the summertime it's unbearable.
Yeah, same here. I'm literally dying today. So are you doing exercises at home or are you having gym in the same building houses?
No. By morning exercise, I mean a walk. I go for a 20-minute walk around the block. Get some fresh air, get some light in my eyes, and then in the afternoon, actually right after this, I go to the gym.
As I remember, you having a dog, or I confuse you with someone. No?
Someone else. I don't have a dog. No.
Okay. I just remember I follow you for like, I don't know, eternity, and we follow each other since you was just a creator, somehow like that. And I remember the thing when you started to build your project with BEARISH, and it was so unexpected for me because like, I don't know, I thought you were just a creator, then you disappeared for some time from a timeline, probably because you was preparing your projects somehow like this. You will tell us it now. So yeah, and I remember like people starting to talk about your project and everything, and it was so unusual because like Bearish, it's unusual name for the project. We have a saying in Russia that how you will call your boat, that's how it will swim. So we're trying to make names for the boats like projects like luck, like I don't know, happiness, something like this. And you chose Bearish. How it was? Why?
Yeah. So bearish it's not because we're bearish because we're bears. And the original, or like the story behind bears, is actually to touch on what you were saying about, like you've seen me on the timeline for a while. I actually started an NFT collection in the last bull market called Bad Bears. So I'm actually not a creator. I'm actually a builder. I'm a founder. But in the bear market, things are pretty boring. There's not a lot you can do. And so, like I'm a creative person, so I'm always going to experiment with stuff. And so, I started being active on the timeline with the GMs and the spaces and the streams and all that. And, I've kind of always been active, but I don't know, maybe the algorithm just kind of split us apart for a while. But, I do remember hanging out with, I don't know, it's funny. I feel like in the bear market, there are so few people around. You just kind of like, you just meet a lot of people, like you, not a lot, but you just kind of get close to, to the people that are there. And so, a whole bunch of us were stomping around on spaces, on streams, and now everybody else is doing their own thing. And so, but the story behind Bearish, just real quick here, is I actually, like we developed this app called Drip, and I started working on it with Scotty, who coincidentally also had a bear-themed project called Brawler Bears. And so after this project Drip started to be kind of successful, and it deals with communities. We have, I think, close to 2,000 brands and communities that use it. We kind of figured out like, okay, maybe we know what we're doing. Let's see what we can do.
What did you do? What did you do in this project?
Yeah, so it's a basically we take the idea of points
Mhm,
and we treat it like a virtual currency. So
mhm.
it's not on chain, it's off chain. But what it lets you do is it lets you plug into and you know into anything. And specifically, Discord was a place that was really really active. So we had a very popular Discord bot, still do,
Mhm.
and you can basically just do a bunch of stuff, tip people. You can do quests inside of the Discord. Have a store, raffle, play games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so it just made your community just fun, just a fun place to be. And
Mhm.
so, it's really evolved, since then. Um, I get feedback all the time from communities, like they love Drip, all this stuff. And so, but anyways, so Scotty and I decided, hey, we've got these NFT communities that have been with us for 3-4 years.
Mhm.
Um, let's let's merge them. Let's do something different, on a different chain, right? And see if we can apply our kind of collective, brain power and charisma, and do something special, right? And so we launched Bearish, and we call it Bearish because they're bears, and it's also just a funny play on words. So yeah, so that's kind of the story behind it.
Oh, that's interesting. You said you're a builder. Did you like only Web3 builder, or you built something Web2 or offline IRL before?
Yeah, I've always been building stuff. Even before Web3, I've started so many companies. A lot of them failed. Last couple of years, they've definitely been much more successful. In Web2, I had success. I had an agency, a media marketing and web development agency,
Mhm,
e-commerce. I started a software company, and then when I had some extra cash, that's when I jumped into crypto, into Web3, because my friends were making money, and so I kind of poked around in crypto for um, I don't know, a couple of months, and then I realized, oh, I'm not a trader, I'm not an investor, but I am a builder, so I am gonna have some fun and you know build some things. So yeah.
Is it easier for you to build in Web3 or in Web2, and how you feel the difference? Because now I feel like a lot of people starting to build in Web3, but Web2 background is so important, for everything, for your mental health, because in Web2, I feel like you're recovering much faster, I don't know, somehow, and you face with real people and everything, you kind of touch the life. And in Web3, yeah, a lot of FOMO and everything, and people immediately starting you blaming if something like wrong. So I feel like it's kind of worse for the mental health. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's really pros and cons to both of them.
Mhm,
So in Web2, you start a business and you build a product, and then you try to get people to use that product.
mhm,
And kind of the main goal, the main aim is just make a lot of money and do your best to make your users happy. Um, and if it doesn't work out, okay, you can shut it down and move on
yeah.
to something else. Not a big deal. Web3, very different. Um, you build something and you start to gather a community around it.
Mhm,
There's very few Web3 like brands and projects that don't have a community. Um, and so, especially once you like launch something that people can like buy and potentially trade, sell, like a token or an
mhm,
NFT or whatever, um, it becomes infinitely like harder to quit if you wanted to. If you wanted to quit, it becomes infinitely harder, right?
mhm,
Um, on the other hand, you get yourself a community of people that are just awesome, right? Like I'd say probably 99% plus of the people that I know in my life and I speak to on a regular basis, they're online, right? They're in Web3 specifically because it
yeah.
is really so social between Twitter and Discord and streams like this and spaces and all of that. So yeah, so they're actually very, very different. Especially like if you're creating a community, it
Mhm,
becomes if you can make that community great, it becomes a powerful moat, right? You know, a
Mhm.
powerful way for you to actually get ahead and, you know, and bring all these people with you, right? So you get a community of people, a family of friends, and you're all basically kind of working, towards the same thing.
Yeah, that's the cheapest way and the fastest way to find your people. Just join Web3 and you will find so many great, talented people around you you will never see in Web2. I feel like this. But would you recommend to people like, I feel right now, average age of people who in crypto, it's like 20 years old, something like that, the most
Yeah.
active maybe audience, the most, they're exploring everything. So would you recommend for them to start immediately with Web3 or try something in Web2? What do you think? Is it important to build something in Web2? I think yes. And I always saying like, you need to live your life in Web2 at first and then step in Web3 or combine it somehow, but not live it like only in Web3. So what do you think about this?
I mean, I think generally the best advice that I can give, and also what I see out there, at least that I agree with, is when you're young, honestly, like don't jump straight into trying to start a business, trying to do something. It's extremely competitive. If you fail too many times, there's a secondary problem that happens, which is it impacts your self confidence, which that can be a pretty hard thing to get out of.
Hmm.
So I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, is if you're young, honestly, get a job. Get a job for a little bit, um, for a couple of years. When you're not working, work on your side gig. Once your side gig starts to make money, then
Yes.
move over to that, because you're going to get so much experience with working with a serious company and understanding processes, having some kind of discipline, and also building relationships, that it's going to translate into this new thing here, right? So that'd be my advice to young people.
Mm-hmm. How did you find yourself as a builder? Like, did you feel it like from your childhood that you want to create something big in your life, like yourself, or it's you kind of, it's environment, something like this? Because I believe like it's something inside you that moving you forward all the time. Like, you born with this feeling like to be a builder. What do you think about this?
Yeah, yeah, I actually really like this question. Uh, so I'm a first generation immigrant from Ukraine. I was
Mm-hmm,
born I was born in Ukraine, and my family fled in the early 90s to America,
mm-hmm.
with $1,000 in their pocket, 2 bags of clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and 6 kids.
Oh
Just took
my
a plane
God. Oh my
and
God.
just went to a brand new
Many
country, didn't
people.
speak the language, anything, right? And so
Yeah.
started off just at 0 poverty. Obviously, my mom had to stay home to watch the kids. 6 kids turned into 8. So my mother was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad just basically very plainly just had to work his ass off, right? So insanely high work ethic, right? And like, was he happy? Probably not. He's got 10 mouths to feed. um
That's crazy.
yeah, and so anyways, um I've always had this kind of sense of work ethic. Like, I've worked, I think, probably since I was probably 11 years old. I had a newspaper job. um so I do actually like to work a lot. That's first and foremost. I always wanted to be a game designer growing up. Um,
Oh.
and, because I liked experiences, I like to design or craft experiences. I actually used to do some filming with my siblings. Like, I would direct these shots of, these like little movies and stuff. And so anyways, uh, I I actually had my first entrepreneur experience when I was about like 20 years old. I was doing
Uh-huh.
graphic design at the time. I had taught myself Photoshop and stuff like that. So a friend of mine started up this little game company, and he needed some graphics to be done for it, right? So he hired me and paid me like $20 a graphic, which was insane at the time. For me, I was like, what the heck is this? But I got to work around him and his friends, basically in their big mansion, just around the dining room table for hours, just drinking coffee and working, at our laptops. And that was my first real, kind of like experience of like, oh, this is what it's like, like when you're building cool shit with people that you like. And so pretty much since then, it's, I've always been chasing that feeling. And, kind of at this point, with everything I've gone on between Bearish and Drip and Zeet and, and side stuff, it is like that, right? Like I build cool shit with people that I love every single day. And it, kind of translates, like in Web3, we have our community, the Bearish community, absolutely amazing. I think a lot of, of just our excitement and energy probably translates down to them. And it actually, like their excitement feeds us too, right? So it kind of turns into this, flywheel or this kind of self-perpetuating, motivation machine.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful words, and I'm really happy to know your story. That's amazing that your parents did actually, because yeah, I can't even imagine how many strengths it take to move to another country with kids. I moved to another country as well, and I know how hard it is, but I can't even imagine how hard it is when you have kids, especially 6 kids, and insane. And I'm from a small town, and then I moved to a big city, then another big city, then in another country. And I feel like when I compare myself with people who was born in these big cities, for example, like they're too slow, compared with me, because you as a person who like actually can imagine that if you want working, you will back to your home city. That's terrifying. You're working a lot, and you like
you got a fire under your ass.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel it's a bad too, because it's fuck with your mental health, of course.
Oh, sure.
Because you don't have this background on which you can rely, so you're always in this cycle. What do you think about this? Is it more helpful? Like, did you feel this in your student this age, or you already have some base from your parents, like they created? How it was for you?
Like how was it for me? Oh, no, no.
Did you like compared yourself with people who was like living in this country all the time, and did you feel some difference from you?
I think like, so my parents like started out from scratch, absolutely, right? And by the time that I left the house, like they were doing much better for sure, but it's not like there was nothing there for me, right? Like like I went to college for 2 semesters and I just paid for it myself, and I didn't really have plans to stay there. I just kind of wanted to try everything. I wanted to try like what like was available out there in the world as far as like what college would teach me. And it was, it was psychology. I took one psychology class and I was like, this is awesome. I was like, okay, like if I kind of understood if I could get my psychology right, I could literally do anything, literally anything, is possible. And so I actually went into web design into web design and marketing, because I kind of figured, oh, okay. I mean, marketing is kind of like psychology, like you're working with how people think and all of this stuff. Sorry, I kind of went on a ramble. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We were just, talking about everything. And okay. So moving to your project right now, how, like, when I see a project, it's so different from, like, it's not anime, it's not like related to something that we already know, but somehow it's take such a good place on abstract, like your floor price always growing, your community so active and everything. How did you achieve this? Like, how it's actually working? Because I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a team effort. It's definitely something that there's a lot of people working together to just I mean, try and keep a good vibe, right? I think first and I'm a firm believer that the DNA of the founders of a company becomes the DNA of the team, which becomes, in large part the DNA of the community as well, right?
You have big team in the project?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. Yeah, we have, I mean, between Drip and Bearish, I mean, there's some overlap there. We have a couple of developers. Scotty's actually the brains. He's kind of more of the developer. The more like left brain part of all of this. I'm more, right brain, and then we have kind of the person in the middle, which is Carlo, the community manager. All right, he's the one that I would say is probably the closest with the community, right? He's always in there welcoming new members in the Discord, like when they come in, I'm attracting people, I'm on the timeline and all of this stuff. And so there's that. And then we've got, actually an entire art team as well. We started working with this guy, FOMO Phil. We've been working with him, I think, for almost 6 months now. He's been handling a lot of the IP stuff, the art, the illustrations, the GIF stuff, the Giphy stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, it's a big team, big community, right? There's a lot of help that we get from community members as well, to work with stuff like Nifty Island. We have game nights, some team members.
That's cool. Do you have avatars inside the Nifty Island?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we have a bunch of bear fur skins. I think we actually even have like all of the furs of the bears that you can play inside of Nifty Island. There's 15. Yeah,
oh my God, that's so cool. Wait, before I will ask you next question, guys, I need to remind you that repost this live stream to win Bearish NFT. Don't forget to comment, repost, and we will choose the winner at the end of the live stream. So do this. We will check it after. Oh, you did already so many reposts. Good job. So don't forget on X, not on Abstract. But thank you for watching us on Abstract. Okay, so my next question is how hard it is to find right partners in Web3, and maybe not in Web3, just when you build in your project, because it's huge pain for everyone, even for me. Before now I'm doing my live streams alone, and it took time to do this alone, to believe in yourself and everything. And I try to work with people, but every time I notice I'm trying too hard, they're not trying at all, and it's some kind of offenses between us, something like that, and it's never worked for me. But I wish to find this team around me. So how did you manage to do this, and what's the key points in finding your people with who you can not only be friends but working together?
Yeah, I have a lot of experience in this. I've started a lot of companies in the past, some successes, some failures. Definitely, after my mid-20s, it was like they were definitely more successful, because this is kind of a very common thing that people say, but the reality is like when you're going into a partnership with someone, you're going into a partnership with them like it was a marriage, like it's a relationship. And for a relationship to work, both parties need to have a little bit of a certain level of maturity, right? Because you're gonna have fights, you're gonna have disagreements, you're gonna have good times and bad times, but it's like you got to just know how to work through it. So I think my partnership with Scotty is probably the most successful that I've had. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, we're both, I guess, probably more mature than we were, before. And there's also, I think there's also a lot at stake too, right? Like there's, not only did him and I like get together for Bearish, but like we've got two separate communities that came from that, right? And then now I think like the existing community, I think there are more like new members like than there were from our previous collections here, right? And so I mean, to answer your question succinctly, it's basically you kind of have to have a certain level of maturity, understanding, letting shit go, right? Like you're not always going to agree on stuff. Just give them, just like any relationship, right? Like there's a give and take. So, yeah.
Do you think you can understand it immediately? Like, can you work with person or not? Like, not immediately, like during like some weeks, or you need to just trust and experiment with a lot of people to try to build something like that. Like, or you can like understand. I don't know, or you can understand, yeah, with who you can work and with who you can't immediately. Like,
No,
how?
no, you definitely can't immediate. I mean, there's like,
No,
again, well, I'm going
you
to
don't.
bring it back. I don't, because like I compare it to like love at first sight, right? Love at first sight, honestly, that's not real. It is not.
Oh, yes, it's
It's
not
not real.
real.
It's
Yeah.
not real because like you fall in love with someone and you think that they are who you think they are. Basically, a
Mm.
little bit of a fantasy. I'm talking about like intimate relationships here. Um, and so, uh, but over time, you get to know them, and probably not really that person. Maybe they have some really terrible qualities that are just deal breakers.
Mhm.
So I don't believe in love at first sight. When it comes to business, um, it is you can kind of like, especially like here in Web3. I think that in Web2 you don't really have this. Um, in Web2 you don't really know people um, that well because you can't really, I guess, like find their reputation in a way that's not in control of them. Meaning they're probably posting on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Like whereas in Web3, you can like everybody's got a reputation, right? Like whether
Mhm.
it's good or bad, and like you can't really escape from it, like unless you just completely hide your identity, start something brand new, So it's like I feel like in Web3, so like this example with like me and Scotty, um, I've always admired Scotty from a distance, and the work that he does, like the stuff that he built. Actually, like even day one, before I even met him, I saw that his project was minting, brawler bears. And it just looked so cool. It was this like pixelated, gamified city thing. And I was like, oh damn, that's so cool. Fuck that guy. Um, and then we connected um, in the bear market. And I asked for his help with something. And so as we just started talking, blah, blah, all this stuff. And I've always just admired him, and so when I invited him to work on Drip together, um,
Have you met each other offline, or you just online? You talk about everything online.
at that time,
Uh-huh.
no, at that time we had never met each other in person. Yeah, like I think we met each other in person for the first time probably 6 months after we got into business together.
Was it the same feeling from meeting person offline after so much time working together?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I, but it's funny because a lot of the team, we've been working together. Like some team members I hadn't met for like a year and a half, and they were like basically close to best friends. Like
Mhm.
we'd be working on stuff together, and then finally we meet in person, and it's like oh okay, this is you, and then it just keeps going from there. So no, it's not weird at all.
Okay. So, do you feel like in Web3 we can have this intuition towards people as well through their messages and everything? So it's not really a matter have we met person or not. Is it the same?
I wouldn't. I personally, I think at this point for me in Web3, the default is like a little bit of skepticism, right? Just being careful, because you know, there's just a lot of bad people out here. You know,
Did you change opinion about someone like this? You met person and you thought like, oh my God, this is such a great guy. Then you was disappointed, or like opposite, you met person with terrible reputation, but then you're like, oh my God, this is a nice guy actually.
um, hmm, no, I don't think so. I don't think I've had that experience where, it's more like the times when I have gotten fucked is when you know, I was kind of starry-eyed going into conversation, or after a conversation, just had all these hopes and dreams, and like they made me feel that way. But they were just very good at making people feel like that, right? But they actually turned out to be kind of pretty shitty. And so, so that's where you kind of have to be careful with trusting your intuition, because you can get tricked very easily, right? Like especially if they're a good, I don't know, salesperson, whatever, they can, like, they know what to say to make you feel good and to make you like them. And then they could just go and do whatever they want, right? So that's the reality sometimes. Not everybody, but those people exist out there, so you just got to be kind of mindful.
Had your project ever was on the edge, like, because of these people, or just because of situation, or because of market, like when you thought like everything is done, like we can't get out of this, or with Bearish everything was good always?
No, Bearish has always been great.
Mm-hmm.
Bearish has always been great. Before Bearish,
Mm-hmm.
my first time, kind of building a company in Web3 with Bad Bears, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Team members that just end up stabbing me in the back, or were just didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, I think between my judgment and Scotty's judgment and Carlo and anybody else that is on the team, like Phil especially too. Phil's really good at this. Um, we can kind of identify, oh, this person's actually a good person. This person's actually kind of a terrible person. We collectively don't like this person for whatever reason, so, or we love this person collectively. So it's just kind of like we kind of have a group like mind, and everybody's got their own intelligence and their own intuition, and we disagree sometimes, and sometimes it gets heated, but at the end of the day, we're family, and we feel like we're building some cool stuff.
That's so, you're so passionate when you're talking about your boys, that's
My
cool.
boys. Yeah.
This relationship, yeah. Guys, don't forget to repost the live stream, and okay, that's how you can win Bearish. So don't forget to repost it on X. And thank
Well,
you
by
for
the way, I just want to say, the way that we're gonna be giving away the Bearish is I actually want to break one open in front of you. Like we have this like pre-reveal
oh
process where,
my God, that's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. So it's an ice cube with the bear in there, and you have to break it like this. And so, so we'll
That's
do
so
a
cool.
screen share. It's fun.
Let's go. So they not every Bearish revealed, or how
Nope.
it's. Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, you heard everything. We will see some magic here on the live stream. And a lot of comments, guys. I'm focused, okay? So I will read every your comment, or just write it on X, because I can't, just my mind going crazy. Yeah, jump on X better with abstract. Okay, so let me fix the conversation with the line that we started. Why with Bearish everything went differently? How you actually working with Bearish? Do you need to, like, I think a lot of builders watching us right now. I think a lot of people who are planning to do something and everything. So and a lot of people like struggling when they need to start their project, when everything will be prepared, or they need to introduce audience from the scratch, and showing how you building everything. So what is the best way to not also, make yourself in the situation when you kind of jailed yourself into this project and you don't know even your further steps, but community, like asking if you from you further steps. And yeah, it's like a lot of, I think, mental health issues
Yeah.
kind of that. So how you need to start your project, with what
Yeah.
plan?
So, well, first of all, it depends on the kind of project,
Mhm.
right? Are you a meme coin? Are you an NFT collection? Are you a software? Right. So, I can really mostly, I mean, probably talk to software a little bit, but I mean, probably the NFT collection is probably like where I can speak the best. And
Mhm.
there's one thing, that um, is a lesson that both Scotty and I learned independently that we kind of made it a core aspect of Bearish. And that is
Mhm.
be careful with setting expectations.
Mhm.
Because when you set expectations, first of all, uh, like when you don't reach it, people are going to be upset because nobody likes to have a broken promise, right? An expectation is a promise. Um, and it really kind of an expect an expectation sets the uh, basically sets a ceiling for speculation as well.
Mhm.
Speculation Web3, if you're you know NFT or a token drives a lot of hype and excitement, and just good vibes, right? That's like one of the core tenets of crypto, of being in crypto, is
Mhm.
speculation, that hype, that the excitement, whatever. People love it, right? It's addicting. And so when you set an expectation, you're really kind of capping that. That's
Mhm.
first and foremost. The second thing is that things change. Your health is going to change, tech changes, the
Mhm.
market sentiment changes, and so your plans have to change, right?
Mhm.
In Web 2, it's very easy to pivot. If your product's not working out, okay, let's pivot to something else. Web 3, it it can be a lot harder if you set too many expectations, you know what I mean? And so I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
everything is digitalized, and you immediately seeing, like, when you change in your content something like this, that you losing people, so yeah, I believe it's harder. Okay, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so
Mhm.
I mean, I guess one like major thing that we decided with Bearish in the very beginning was, hey, you know what? Like, we're not going to be setting expectations. We're just going to do stuff. And the fact that we're not setting expectations does not mean that we don't have a roadmap. We have a roadmap. There's a lot of stuff that's in the works, um, but we're just not going to tell you until like a week before or the day of. Um, and I think that's a good strategy to have, because you kind
Mm,
of set the expectation that there will be surprises in the future, good surprises in the future, um, right? And so that's exciting, right? If you're expecting there to be continuous like surprises, you're gonna feel good being in that project because the future looks bright. You know what I
mhm.
mean? So I think, and I'd love to hear from community members, and holders. I think we've been doing a good job of that. But I'd love to hear if we're not, of course.
No, I think that's a good mindset, and thank you for sharing it. That yeah, you need to warn people, like, before you giving them something, and not like, I just, I'm talking with a lot of founders and advise them, and a lot of people come in with the request like, we are the best project in gaming, we are the best, and I'm like, no, no, immediately, like, forget about these words, we are the best, because that's how you will ruin yourself, like, 100%. Don't tell that you're the best, because at first it will, like, prevent you from collaborations, which is very important in Web3, to talk normally with people. When you're telling about yourself you are the best, they will be so skeptic about you, and they will be, like, not accepting you seriously when you like, I'm the best, like, because they
Right.
think they're the best as well. Yeah, so at first, like, these kind of expectations, that's not good for your project.
Right.
But
Exactly.
how it's for you, like, should you know where your project going from the start, or you should, like, you just need to figure out it in the process, and you need to start building your community around, just your first idea? How it is?
Yeah. No, definitely. Do not have like, I mean, like, at least in my opinion, don't have a complete end goal in mind. Like a strictly defined end goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing is to have a direction. Like, okay, we're
Oh.
gonna yeah, we're gonna go in this direction.
Mhm.
Um, and there's something over there that we think that we like. Just based on our experience, based on our understanding of the market, um, and also, based on the community, right?
Mhm.
Um, so so I think it's a good idea to go into a certain direction, kind of know who you are, right? At Bearish, we are builders. We know that. Um, we love to build things. So we're talking about apps and experiences and that kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
but we also like don't feel that we have to be stuck on that, right?
Mhm.
Because even with the IP stuff that we're doing, with our TikTok, with our Giphy, with our Instagram, and the future stuff that's going to come as a result of that, um, we're not experts. I'm not an expert there. Um,
Mhm.
but that's something that we want to do. And we know that we'll figure it out. And we know that it's probably a good idea to do it because you see some of the top projects doing it, right? Like you look at somebody like Pudgy, for example. I use Pudgy as a great example.
Mhm.
Their IP game is top notch, the best, I would say. You can say the best about another project, of course. Uh, so so like it would make sense to like, okay, let's maybe follow in their footsteps and I don't see what can come of it, right? And so we've learned a lot, obviously. And now we're actually much more experienced in IP game. And again, we're just getting started. There's, I mean, we're basically 6 months old, so um,
Mhm.
yeah. So, anyways, no, I don't think you should like know exactly where you're going. I think you should like know who you are, and just head in that direction.
That's interesting. Okay, guys, I know I saw already your questions about future of the project and everything. On Born to Build, the goal is to understand mindset of the founders. So we talk about life in general, about what people think about creating project and everything. And then now I will ask everything, so don't be worried. Okay. You chose abstract for launching your project. Were you bullish at start? You thought like they will succeed, or because you saw some patterns, or you tried because of hype? Why you chose abstract?
We actually chose abstract um, because it was it was launched by the founder of the greatest NFT collection.
Mm.
And so it felt to me that and the greatest NFT collection, I guess, in my opinion, maybe they're not the highest floor price, but I think that they're the best. And that's Pudgy Penguins. And so we figured,
I
okay,
think the
if
best. Who wrote this? Not
Azuki
me.
Azuki is also the best. Uh, so
Mm.
I was saying that that it made sense for us to jump on a chain whose ethos kind of originates from, like kind of the same like thread that we originate from, which is an
Mm-hmm.
NFT brand, digital collectible, right? This whole thing that, it's still a new industry that we're all experimenting in. And it just made sense that like we're going to go on a chain that was launched by somebody that's kind of like us. We feel like there's a lot of alignment there.
Oh my God,
Um,
I love it.
yeah, yeah. So that was really kind of the core of it. We had other options. We talked to a lot of different chains, um, but we knew, deep down that this is the one to do it. And
Oh,
we took a really, really, strong bet on it. Like we actually minted Bearish less than 24 hours from their mainnet launch. From Abstract mainnet launch,
yeah.
January 28th, whatever it was, um, which was like a psychopathic thing to do because it's a brand new chain. There's not a lot of liquidity. There's, I don't know, some tech issues. Not everybody knows about it, right? So, but we just wanted to get started. So, yeah.
Do you think like you would have the same success if you launched on another chain?
Um, it's a good question. I can't say for sure because there's a lot that we've gotten out of Abstract, beyond just, beyond what I said before, which is the team is fantastic. We're
Mhm.
close to the team. Um, uh, the vibe on there, like the collaboration between the communities, most communities, is people just want to work together. They want to play together. I don't build cool shit. We just launched, a cool little feature inside of our Discord that lets you chat with other Discords of other communities. And we have like 6 Abstract communities all chatting in one channel, but they're in 6 different Discord servers. And it's cool. It passes their PFP, their name, says what Discord they're from, passes reactions and GIFs and images and I don't know, whatever. And so, yeah, so it's very collaborative. Doesn't really feel competitive most of the time.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I love
I don't
this
know.
too.
Yeah.
I love this take. You know why? Because I always say it for myself. Like I was a Zuki before I joined Azuki, and like literally I find myself such a great community of friends, of builders. Most of the project I work now, it's from Azuki. So I love this passion that you have to Pudgy Penguins. And guys, if you like want to launch a project, like follow your passion and people who like match with you by energy, by vibes, by the goals and everything. Like this is a great example of what you're telling, and my experience with Azuki. That's actually awesome. That yeah, you need to build with people who you like have this common vibes.
I
So
think
that's
one thing I think one thing I really respect about Azuki, there's many things, but I think the thing that I respect the most and I've noticed the most is like they support other
yeah.
builders that support Azuki, right? So like, from creators to people building stuff, like they have that ethos, right?
Mhm.
You know, and I definitely say that Bearish actually embodies a lot of that ethos as well, right? We've
Mhm.
had 3 different hackathons where we've given out, I think maybe $120,000 worth of, you know, of prizes to people, and taught people how to vibe code and all of this stuff because we want builders, because it makes them happy, right? And maybe some of them will actually build some cool stuff, for the Bearish brand, whatever. So
Weren't your project? I don't actually remember free mint.
nope, no,
No.
it was 0.055, I think, as the public mint price.
Mhm.
When ETH was, where was ETH? 2,500, maybe
Mhm.
less. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you also have like small supply, like 400 or 4,000, 5,000, something like this, right?
Yeah, so we actually, this is like a whole different conversation, but Bearish is actually a 404, not an ERC 721, but it's an ERC 404, which I'm not going to get into, and I actually don't like to talk about it because it confuses people. But it is both an NFT and a token. Only the NFT is active right now. The token's going to become active later, and we'll closer to the event, we'll explain like what that means, how it works, and all of that stuff.
Was it enough for you to earn from Mint to continue working on this project? Because it's definitely like not a huge like amount of money.
Yeah.
Is it enough?
Yeah.
How else?
There's actually like there's a few decisions that we made early on that are decisions that probably normal NFT projects wouldn't make. First of all, it's impossible for us to earn royalties on NFTs. We've done $0 in royalties. Even if people wanted to, they can't. And we did that on purpose. We did that on purpose because we want to be an example that mints and royalty are not the only way to have a successful NFT project. We're builders, right? Like we're business builders. And so, and so the revenue sources that are going to come in are, like that's what we want to focus on, right? Is to be generating revenue off of the different things that we do.
What things? How you monetize your project else?
So we're builders, right? So we're going to be building stuff. I mentioned before that we have Drip, right? So Drip is it's a points API infrastructure. There's a lot that we're actually going to be announcing there very soon. Actually, we kind of stealth launched some stuff, but we're doing some fixes. And another example is Zeet, right? I don't know if you know anything about Zeet.
No.
Okay. Well, we're not going to get into that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. There's gaming, right? So actually getting into, we're right in the middle of building a game. I actually hinted at that last week with Marianne on a stream. And there's a few other things that we're cooking up too. So, yeah. Like I don't want to show all of our cards right now, because we have projects that look at us like competition. And so I kind of got to treat them like competition a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you still trying to find right community and make them find right people, right builders into your community and to make them purchase your Bearish? Like I'm just trying to understand who are these people who purchase in Bearish and what they're receiving, like what's inside community they're receiving, and what they will receive.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the community members can maybe pipe up and say why they bought a Bearish.
They only talking about like why I didn't purchase more. We need more Bearish and everything. On the abstract, I see comments.
Yeah, I love that people love it. We spent some good time actually putting the characters together because we knew that we'd be staring at this thing for 10 years, right? Plus, right? Like we knew that we would be looking at these PFPs every day for the next 10 years or more. And so we got to make them good and interesting. Every single day, I see one that is just like, oh my God, I totally forgot that trade existed. Actually, one the other day, actually I cracked some ice with Marianne last week and I saw a trait that I didn't even know existed. Right. And so, so anyways, I think to answer your question before, like what can people expect, after purchasing a Bearish if they want to be involved in the community? So there's, I think like on the surface, the very obvious thing is inside of the community, inside of Bearish, the Discord, you can actually earn something called Berry, which is, so it uses Drip to create this point system called Berry. and you can earn it. People can tip you. So if you actually go into the Discord right now and say, hey, Toli sent me here and said I could get some tips. I'm sure somebody's going to tip you some berries. That berry you can use to buy stuff in the store or to enter raffles. There's always a bunch of stuff that we're giving away there, from NFTs to meme coins, physical merch, sometimes too. You can earn this berry from actually completing quests as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
What
you can play. What's that?
what's quest?
A quest
Just
is
yeah, not everyone from bearish community watching us right now, so I'm trying to clarify for
sure.
them.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. So a quest is basically if you do this, you'll get some berry, right? So for example, I think a quest that we have in there is, do we have evergreen quest? I don't think so, but so every now and then, or I think actually every day, we create a quest that will ask people to go to a post and drop a comment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something thoughtful. And if you do
Social.
that, what's
Okay.
that? Yeah, social.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Social quests. There's going to be a lot more like types of quests that are going to be coming out very soon, particularly like blockchain quests as well. So anyways, yeah, so there's like, it feels like a little bit of like a game. Yeah.
People also writing in the chat that whitelist raffles, a lot of whitelist raffles.
Right. Actually, that's, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I didn't mention that, but I think we've made, our bearish holders like some decent like money. Like I just checked earlier. There was a project that came in called Berry, like not related to us, but we decided to support them because they're bears. Bears are cool. And they basically they launched an NFT collection called Berries, BEARYZ. I know it's starting to get confusing with all the bear and the berries, but anyways, if you minted those, then you actually got airdropped their token, which today the airdrop is worth, I think $250, right? But yes, we've had a couple of airdrops come in, a ton of whitelists, right? Like bearish, really strongly supported Dreamilio, which is a pretty solid project on Abstract. I'm sorry, a very solid project on Abstract. Love the team and the community there. And so they got special allocation and it was cheap, and Dreamilio went through the roof, right? So anyways, there's a lot of whitelists, airdrops that we have. We're probably going to keep doing that. Hopefully they get bigger and better, as we grow and get more opportunities and everything.
Awesome. What's your future plans? Like, should we expect some game or something like you're talking that you told us?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you can expect a game on Abstract. It's going to be pretty cool.
When?
I'm not going to say when, but
no, I guys, sorry.
probably sooner than you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's I mean, every week there's something going on, like Carlos sparking up some kind of collab with another community. I think, so today you posted that somebody's going to win a custom bearish watch, like a watch with bearish engraved into it, right? So there's just, I mean, like at the very least, like at the worst, in bearish, you're going to meet some really cool people. Like it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be fun. At the best, you're going to have, I don't know, a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity and a lot of like cool stuff that you'd never expect come your way.
Okay. For builders, I understand. For projects, I understand. Like everyone can collaborate with you inside the project. They can build together, which is pretty cool. They can play with their IPs and everything. So let's talk the last thing about content creators, because we have a lot of guys who creating content X who watching us right now. So do you plan to do something like, content creator program, like many projects do, or like, I don't know, some system for content creators? Do you have something like this?
Um, if I meet someone that, if I meet someone that they want to lead that up, I'd be open to that conversation. We take that idea of community of creators, which is,
Mhm.
which has existed for a couple of years, especially in the bear market. There was a lot of these kind of community of creators. We are actually like, we want to have a community of builders, people that build stuff, whether it's businesses or like apps or games. And we have that right now, right? I think we have, I don't know, maybe 60 to 80 vibe coders in the community. A lot of them, it's the first time that they've ever actually created an app or a game themselves. And we were like able to teach them
Cool.
that, and that's just going to evolve. That's going to grow, like especially if you kind of nurture that, um,
Mhm.
and hopefully we can guide some of that as well. Like, you're going to be able to build stuff that you never thought you could ever build, and maybe even possibly make some money off of it. As a real business, not as a just yeah, like, a meme coin trade or something.
That's awesome to hear. And guys who new to Bearish, you just need to check Abstract, where we are streaming as well, because I, for the first time, seen such a crazy active community on Abstract. So the good work, amazing community, and really, really glad to hear that you take care about builders, and inside your project they can collaborate, they can build together, they can learn how to build their own projects. This is amazing for the space in general. So yeah, the huge respect to you and what you're building. I think a lot of guys in love with your project. I see Livy from Azuki like liking the vibes and everything. So amazing live stream. Thank you so much. And I have the last blitz of round of questions to you. It's quick questions, and you can answer quickly or explain your answer in few words. It's just 5 questions.
Sure.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay, complete centralization for every world, like for all world, or decentralization. You can choose only one.
Oh, I can only choose one.
Yeah.
Decentralization for sure.
Okay. Doxing or undoxing?
These are kind of hard. Honestly, I mean, I'm doxxed, but I was, yeah,
Hmm.
like I'm doxxed, but I think undoxing is maybe a little bit more fun. Staying undoxed. Yeah.
Had you ever feel sorry that you doxed?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's helping you to build trust that you're doxed?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like do you think like we can trust everyone who is doxed,
No,
or like?
no, of course not.
I agree with it. This is important, guys. Okay, about what you would like to talk with Satoshi Nakamoto if you would meet him in person and finally know who is he?
Oh, geez. Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to have, a proper technical discussion with him, but I think I would ask him what his plans are for all that Bitcoin that he has. Because isn't there like a wallet that he owns that just has like a shit ton of Bitcoin? Yeah. So I'd want to know what his plans for that are.
Who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto? We had different versions on these live streams, and interesting to know you. From what country, maybe? Have you thought about this?
No, I don't have an opinion there. I don't have a thought there.
We had a version
What do
that
you
it's
think?
copy, that it's a group of people, that it's a woman. It's a lot of different funny versions.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more than likely, at the end, it probably was just more than likely a group of people.
Yeah. Okay, last one, because I'm also making an art live stream. So tomorrow, guys, you can join. It's every Wednesday. What art you would like to collect if you would have like unlimited amount of money?
Good question. I'm a big fan of pop art for sure. Just kind of, yeah, stuff that just kind of makes a statement on your wall. Like Alec Monopoly type of stuff, right? That's just bright and colorful, but you can like look at it for a long time and just get a lot out of it. Yeah, that'd be it.
Are you collecting Web3 art?
No, I'm not. Besides NFTs.
Why? Don't you believe in Web3 artists?
You're putting me on the spot. Absolutely, I believe in Web3 artists, especially if they're Russian,
Okay. Let's then give away and show your bearish, how you reveal it.
All right. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
You can. Also, you can choose winner.
I'll let you choose the winner if that's okay.
Okay. I'm choosing Libby because I think like he's in love with your project, and yeah.
Nice.
If you don't mind.
All right. So this here, let me actually do this here. Let me make this a little bigger. I think I can do that. All right. So, So I'm just going to pick a random ice cube here. I'm going to do this one. 3726. Let me sign the message.
Let's go.
All right, so you tap on it to crack it. I think there's one more crack. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Oh my God, that's cute here. Also Livy is a builder and he making comic for Azuki community. So I'm sure he will play in with his IP of Bearish as well, with his comics.
Love it. That's great. Yeah, so he got himself a little schoolboy here. So this is the honey fur. There's the honey fur, and he just looks like a schoolboy. So
that's cool.
Congratulations.
Livy, are you happy? Write us in the chat. I'm happy that you're happy. Okay, last thing that I'm asking to do every founder is wait, I will put you in the spot. No, wait, don't here. Write make video for yourself in a year. So maybe year after you'll back to this video and we'll check what do you like to say
to myself in a year?
Yeah.
Putting me on the spot here. Let me see here.
I like to do this because we can see how people talk with themselves. So yeah.
Okay. How do I talk to myself? Let's see here. So it's a video for me 1 year from now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
How do you see yourself in a year?
What's that?
How do you see yourself in a year?
I mean, in a year, I don't know. I don't know if I like this.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. We had a lot of vibes.
You tried. I tried.
That's good because yeah, everyone, different, so we like it. And thank you so much for the live stream, for your energy and the project that you're building. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching us. It was awesome to have all of you, to meet all of you. I will follow everyone from Bearish community. So thank you so much for supporting this live stream, and see you in the future episodes with different founders and artists. So yeah, have a great day, everyone, and
Thank you
you
for having me.
yeah, bye bye, guys.
See ya.